I'm putting you on mute.
Bright and early for some folks if you're on the East Coast. But if you are in Central Time or Eastern Time, like my guests, then we're already rocking and rolling on a Saturday. My name is Lakisha Camese, and I am the program director for Minorities for Medical Marijuana, their Project Clean Slate program, which deals with cannabis expungements and wraparound services. As you know, we've been hitting up city after city, state after state, doing God's work and setting the captives free. So many people ask me throughout this whole process, why do you do this? What is the benefit? And I can tell you not only the main benefit of having someone having this off of their charge and off of their record and just be able to live freely and wholly like a fully integrated citizen in their community. Additionally, is the opportunity to enter the cannabis industry. Some people would like to call it reparations, that a war on drugs criminalized this person for a plant that is now legal in most of the states. And now they've come full circle in a sense. They've come where they can actually enter this business in multiple areas, whether it's plant touching, ancillary, entrepreneurship, working as an advocate. My guest, I can tell you, has done pretty much all of those things, and I'm so excited. I can't talk this brother up enough. He has come from the grassroots. He has worked in the weeds, in the struggle, and I'm just happy and honored to have him here. Without much ado or further ado, I am going to introduce Tahir Johnson, who is going to be the new CEO of Simply Pure Trenton in New Jersey. And he's part of our M for MM family. Listen, I can't introduce you. You have such an extensive resume and bio. I can't do it. I have no more words but to say that he's amazing. And to hear, please say a little bit about yourself.
Well, Lakisha, thank you. You know, you're far too kind with the introduction. Forgive me for multitasking. You know, one of my many titles that I have is dad. And I've been going away so much working on the business.
Oh,
And
wow.
today's my daughter's soccer game at 11 o'clock. So I'm getting ready to run out of here and go there. Y'all are going to have me while I'm on the road a little bit.
It's
Hope
okay.
y'all
We're
don't
great.
mind. And then after that, I'm also going camping with the Girl Scouts today. So I got all my camp gear ready. You know, I'm trying to be ready for that.
Oh,
But
man.
everybody,
Total girl dad. I love it.
yes, yes. But the title that all of y'all want to hear from me about is I'm the CEO of Simply Pure Trenton. We're an adult use cannabis dispensary in my hometown, Ewing, New Jersey. I've been fortunate that I was awarded. Well, actually, me and my good friend John Dockery, who I grew up with, we were awarded two of the first 11 dispensary licenses in New Jersey, and we are, of course, the legendaries working with the legendary Simply Pure brand, Wanda James, and we're excited to be getting ready to open. I actually got my annual approval in April for my license. You know, we're finishing up the final stages of construction and trying to get open as soon as possible. After my last meetings is looking now, like around like the first week of July. But You know, and then Johnny not too far behind me, hopefully getting his annual approval at the next meeting or soon. You know, I'm excited. You know, like you said, I've been in this journey in the industry in cannabis for a long time. Shout out to the M for MM fan. I know this is what seven-year anniversary, like just
Yes.
yesterday. So it's like
Yes.
it's amazing. Thank you for all the work that this organization has done. It's been instrumental in my career personally. So for everybody, that is listening, I could definitely say, if anything, I would like to think that I'm an example that advocacy definitely, man, goes a long way in like your career, because it starts with, for one, I mean, you have to knowing and understanding like the rules, what's going on, all the major players, but then also being able to speak for yourself, right, having a seat at the table. For me,
Right.
it was, even though I always wanted to have a business, the work was just really always about just, I think, representing people from my community and people that are like me. And I've had the opportunity to do that for a long time over the past, time flies, like 5 years. Finally getting to win the license and do this in New Jersey and come back home after being gone for 20 years, especially when my mom was like, you're the only one that went to college, you're not coming back here, finally
So
coming back.
first generation
Um,
college too.
yeah,
Awesome.
well, my mom and dad are also actually Howard alums too. But I was the only one that of me and my brothers that left Trenton. So
Yeah.
it was the time when I was coming out of high school was I mean, I'm sure we all have similar different stories, but I was just thankful to be able to get to, despite everything, still get to go to Howard, still get to have a good career. So of course, who doesn't always want to come back home? So this is the best, the dream come true to get to do this, especially how, bringing back jobs. And so probably the thing that was the biggest thing, you know what I mean? That was like the biggest, I don't know, tool, I guess, you know what I mean, of like keeping us locked up and everything like that is now the business that I have. So it's a blessing.
So let me just go back a little bit, because I mean, you said you started in advocacy, um, and I told everyone, I said, Tahir started in the legacy market. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know that we talked offline, and navigating, getting into an industry that's still so new, right? It's still learning, it's still developing, and then wanting to be taken seriously, but then also having this charge on your record. And it's like, okay, should I reveal now? Should I not reveal? How do I do this? How do I navigate that? Can you explain a little bit to our
Yeah,
audience about
well,
all that?
well, well, the thing about me is, I've personally like never thought of, like, I think that we've all been around, but what I've never wanted to think of myself. I think the way you define yourself and the way that you approach things can have a big impact for perception. And I never wanted to be perceived as a person that came from the legacy market or anything like that. As a
Right.
matter of fact, like for years, the whole time I was in the industry, like the whole fact that like my background, having charges or having been through things myself, was not something I ever talked about, because when I came in, I wanted to be perceived as for my background on Wall Street. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's just the reality is that we're not one dimensional people, right?
Mhm.
So it's like the scale and talent that I'm sure a lot of people have from where I'm from, but a lot of people never got the opportunity to get to do that. So, I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to have a long, successful career and learn things and build relationships that helped me to, be in a legitimate industry. And I'll say relationships also, and just, understanding business goes a long way. So, a lot of us have, like I said, being able to learn what your skills are and what your value is to the industry beyond that is, I think, what's most important. Because again, for me, I wanted to be like, look, I deserve a place here because I've managed millions of dollars, right? Like, because
Right.
I know, like, again, then there's other people. I see my guy Antoine out there, right? Like, there's a lot of us like out there that are
Shout out to
doing this. And a lot of
Antoine.
them, they just
Love
never
you.
got the opportunity to see what that looks like, right? Because it's like I
Mhm.
felt like it was shout out to a lot of my brothers and sisters out here, but I felt like there was enough people that had that we got to see that from. So I wanted to be like, define myself differently, and I think it worked out. So like I said, but
It did.
even
It
applying for the
did.
license, initially I didn't know if I wanted to do it myself because I had did so much work and everything. But as I'm looking at it, I'm like, shit, excuse my French. It only makes sense because like
You're in good
like
company.
everything
You're in
that
good
it asks
company there.
for, like when it comes to actually my community, having previous cannabis charges, having a minority-owned business, all those things. I met all of the, kind of qualifications, and it was something that I wanted really bad. So I'm happy that I got took the leap and got the chance to do it, and everything worked out the way it did.
So tell me, you said, okay, you worked on Wall Street, you handled millions of dollars, and how did that transition, that skill set? Because I'm always telling people, you can get in this cannabis industry, you have many transferable skills. People are thinking, oh, well, I don't know horticulture, I don't know nutrients in soil, but it's so much more than that. How has that, coming from that financial background, really helped you in the cannabis industry?
Sure. Well, I think one of the biggest ways that it helped me was, for one, raising capital is something that's extremely important. So understanding finance and
Right.
being able to understand the numbers and be able to actually get investments was something that was super important. I think one of the other things was the hustle, like the grind of being a young black man in finance. It was like if I could be successful there, I was pretty confident that I could do anything in the world.
Right.
Like I came in with zero relationships, zero money, and had to find wealthy people and build their trust to, let me manage their money. I was the first one in the office every day, last one to leave. Like if I had to travel across the country to get a client, like I would do it. And that type of grind and that type of hustle that I learned, and I would say the value and advice that I got from having the opportunity to work with, side by side with some of the greatest like financial advisors in the country, definitely taught me a lot. But then also I think that marketing, I had to market myself. Everything that I had to do, is everything I had to do now. Also, regulatory compliance, finance, you have to be, compliance is a big thing. But really for me, it was, when I was reading about Hope Wiseman, and another person, M for MM fam, I
Shout
read
out to
about her. I
Hope
think
and
it was
Marion
like,
Maine.
yeah, I think it was like Ebony Magazine or something like that. I read about her coming from finance. And I was working in finance, and that showed like I was like, okay, there's a path, like we can do that. So again, it's also like, for me, being inspired by others, also wanting to continue to inspire other people that, it really was seeing her, the blueprint of, my idea to do this in the first place. And like I said, after that, it was the first opportunity that I had working for a company when I applied for a license in 2019. I was the CFO of the company. So, that scale is what, allowed you to get your foot in the door. So it's always
Right.
trying to find your way to get your foot in the door. And that's what makes a difference. Like ancillary, right, those additional skills that you have will
Mhm.
often be what gets you in the industry. And then as you like, take the opportunity to learn and grow and do so many other things, that's where you can expand from there.
Okay, so you've gotten your foot in the door, you've done the finance thing, I mean, which is amazing because frankly, I mean, I'm amazed that I can get my taxes done. So I'm just like, whoa, this is just a lot every year. One of the things that I saw on your LinkedIn profile was that you work with the Marijuana Policy Project and policy folks. And so a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to get into politics. They don't want to get into, I don't want to deal with the stuff with Washington. They see our legislators not in the best light on media. But I tell people over and over that laws drive this industry and that we have to be active because if we're not having the right folks in place and we're not having the right folks in the best interest of what we're concerned about in the cannabis industry, we're going to have some issues. And they're just going to continue to vote against your interests. And you have to get engaged. You have to get in part of the process. And you are I believe you're the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Am I correct on that one?
Yeah, so I actually spent a good amount of time at Marijuana Policy Project in the United States Cannabis Council, and before that, the National Cannabis Industry Association. So I actually started my career in 2019 at the National Cannabis Industry Association as the started out in business development. Again, you that scale from finance. But in 2020, I saw the opportunity in the industry for more of a need for diversity, and I actually ended up creating NCIA Social Equity Scholarship Program. And through that, like as I was traveling across the country, I was seeing like our folks that were like all over like trying to get in the industry, right? Like the M for MM folks. Like I was going everywhere, like kind of linking up with everybody. So when I had the opportunity to build that program and like NCIA, like again, being such a large organization, like again, like you said, politics is everything because for one, like, being able to have the input on what the outcome looks like is everything, right? And if there's nobody from our I guess I try to think of it like I said, for me it's always been like I'm representing like a whole like I've always felt like I was representing like a whole, kind of class or group of people to be the voice and haven't had the opportunity to do that amongst like, large organizations and big organizations is really going a long way. Man, working at Marijuana Policy Project was amazing. Man, like working with Toy Hutchinson, like
Shout out to
my
Toy. She
girl
helped us
there,
with our lobby. She was
yeah, and
amazing.
even yeah. I mean, Toy, like she's an amazing person. I mean, even before that, like Steve Hawkins, like I learned so much from Steve. He had a long career, like not just and this, for me, what I always thought was important and part of my approach was when you think about cannabis, expanding that conversation, right? Be like when we talk about advocacy, like for me, I've been a student of like civil rights movement, student of Black history, like all those types of things. So one of the things that I always wanted to do was expand the conversation in cannabis and bring allies from other people that had a vested interest within our community into the conversation. So it was dope that I got to do things with like, HBCUs. I've got to do the Tuskegee, my folks down there. I've got to do stuff at Howard. I've gotten Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, National Black Caucus state legislators, work with folks from organizations like NAACP, Urban League, and Reverend Sharpton, and like again having these
Are
like
you reading my
Black African
background
American
too? Are
mayors.
you
You know
seriously
what
reading
I'm
my
saying?
background? I worked in
Yeah,
all
so,
those election spheres in Dallas.
yeah,
What's going
yeah.
on? I
So
was like, wait a minute. NAACP,
yeah.
start carrying number. Don't start.
Yeah, so that's what for me again. Like as a person, like these are like different types of organizations that I know the as the value that they've had for our community, and cannabis being so broad. I think it always thought that cannabis is like the biggest civil rights kind of issue of our generation, and me getting to play a role in that. Like I said, that's just always been it. And now they have the opportunity to have a business, and people get to see the transition and follow along. It's been something that I think that's been the most important part, because like saying that that you can win, and it is possible, especially because like I said, when I came in 2019, I quit my job in finance and started working as a bud tender, because I just knew I was going to get a license all the way back then and thought I was going to win. So it's hard. I feel like like I said, like everybody, like I know that there's people everywhere like going for this same type of dream everywhere. So I know how long it took me and how much hard work I had to do. So I just appreciate and got love for everybody that's trying to do it. And again, advocacy continues to be important for me. Like it's never like, oh, I got this, it's over now. Like I just spent the last week, on the Hill for NCIA lobby days. And I also am a board member now at MCBA, where I actually got to kind of start my career and everything. So it's, again, it's a blessing to continue to give back, and try to, keep doing the work.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to those lobby days, because M for MM was there for the week of 420 and did a lot of great work. One of the things that was daunting, I would say, is that many offices we went into, and these are legalized states, they did not have a person that we can speak to specifically regarding cannabis policy. And a lot of people just don't know where it falls in. They were saying, well, what does that fall under? I said, well, it could be anything. It's similar to the law. It could be healthcare, it could be defense, it could be, finance, it could be agriculture. It goes through so many different areas. But I love that advocacy piece that you speak about, and really getting out there and making those connections and networking. So I know we're winding down toward the end of our conversation, and this girl dad is on the move to that soccer game. So what would be your best advice for someone either getting into the industry, someone who has those former charges? What kind of way can you tell them to navigate? I know that a lot of times you didn't have that conversation about your previous charges. You wanted them to see you for your talent, your skill set, and what you bring to the table. But what kind of advice can you give them, just to let them know that, hey, you can still get into the industry, what kind of pathways to take, and how to make themselves really more of an asset, and where people are drawn to them and trying to, get them as that subject matter expert?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, believe it or not, a lot of people in this industry don't know, like some people don't even smoke weed, like they don't really know much about it. Like there's people that are in this industry just learning what an eighth and an ounce is, and all of that stuff. So, there's value to knowing your industry, knowing your market, all of that stuff. And again, don't let your like a charge define you, right? Like for me, like the charge, like if it's a social equity program, thankfully the charge is what gave me priority. But I didn't look at it in
Uh-oh, it's a little bit robot-y. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Tahir. We didn't hear that last little bit. It froze and you roboted a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
Hold on, let's see. Is that better?
Don't
Maybe if going off camera it might help. Uh-oh, I think we might have lost him. Okay. All right. Well, folks, it looks like we're gonna see if Tahir can join us back. If not, I want to thank you guys for tuning in early in the morning. And getting here and listening to this wonderful conversation from this wonderful person. And I just think to hear, I wish his daughter much success at her soccer game. And I'm just astounded by him. So I want to give you just a few takeaways on this. First and foremost, your cannabis charge does not define you as a person. We have so many people that not only just cannabis, but previous charges and criminal charges. That was who you were. It was just one thing. It's not going to define you. There you are.
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me now? But
Yes, you're
that's what I was
perfect.
going to say. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, like, yeah, if I could leave any message, it's don't let a charge or, anything that may have happened in your past define you. Take every opportunity that you can to learn. Take every opportunity that you can to show the knowledge that you have, what you bring to the table, because we all have something special. You know what I'm saying? Like any person, you know what I'm saying, regardless if you have a charge or not, right? Make sure that you be confident. Like confidence and persistence is probably the biggest skill that you know what I'm saying, that you can have, that will, I think, that'll take you places. And being educated, right? I think,
Right.
especially when we start talking about the legal cannabis industry, there's so much to learn, like the science of cannabis,
It's
all of
way
that type of
beyond
stuff. So
sativa and indica.
right. And so for me, that was also part of my plan, right? Like as soon as I decided I wanted to be in the industry, I went to Amsterdam. Like I went to Cannabis Training University. I got a patient and caregiver certification from Americans for Safe Access. Like I wanted to learn all of those things again, because it's like you're not going to tell me again, right? Like you don't it's not just I'm not you're not just going to rest on a credential and be like, oh, I sold weed before, right? Like it's like, oh no, I have this certification and this and that. Like I did this, that, right? And nobody could tell you anything. So that's like what that's like, I think, some of the advice that I can give. Learn as much as you can, be confident, be persistent, and don't let the past define you, and you can't help but win, and you deserve to be here, right? Like it's there wouldn't be an industry if it wasn't for the people that were here before there was an industry. Like I always say, like cannabis legalization is new, but weed's not new. So you know, keep
Right.
it like,
And
hey, you got
I
this.
will be
And plus, then
remiss.
it's hard. It's hard. You got to keep going. Like I said, if I would have gave up, back then and just been like, forget it, I'm just gonna go back to finance or something, I wouldn't be here. So if you want to do it, it's like anything, man. It's like I said, keep it up, but it's worth it.
Tahir, thank you. This is awesome. I am so glad that I was able to get a hold of you. And brother, just keep going. You are such an inspiration to so many. You're a mentor to so many. I mean, people look at you and see what the possible can be, right? So I will be remiss if I didn't mention that Simply Pure Trenton is almost done with construction and will be opening
Yes.
soon. I know we had a moving target date that you had in mind, and we can't wait because your M for MM family is coming to visit you,
Yeah.
and we're coming to
Yeah, and
rack
not just
up.
busy, right? We got to, like you said, we got to do we definitely have to do the expungement, like I said, the Clean Slate expungement program. We got to figure out. I don't know what the grand opening date is, but I would love that. That has to be a part of, like I said, I'd love that to be a part of our grand opening day. So folks, if you are in the Jersey area, like I said, please keep your eyes open for the grand opening. I said it's a moving target right now. Right now, we're looking like first week of July. I'm praying on July 1st, but who knows? I'm not even going to say a day. But when we do have it, like I said, hopefully y'all will be a part of it. And like I said, I'll hopefully the fan from far and wide will come. I'm gonna give enough notice so that people can know. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely looking forward to it. And thank you again for everybody always supporting me. Like, it really is, having the community put a battery in my back and continue to inspire me. And like I said, also the fact that, like, again, as much as I help people, I also learn from so many other people. There's so many people that have inspired me, like taught me the game. And like I said, every conversation that I have with somebody, even if, like I said, if they feel like I'm doing something for them, I'm also learning from them too. So thank you to my community, my support, and thank you for always rocking with me. I love y'all.
Oh, we love you too. Thank you. Shout out again to Wanda James. Shout out to Marijuana Policy Project. Shout out to all these wonderful organizations, especially M4MM. Thank you. I see so many of our members in the chat. Kit, Antoine, that brother is doing it. He's
And I just want to
following
say
your
shout out to my
footsteps.
girl Roz, man. I'm sorry I forgot,
Yes,
man.
shout
Shout
out
out to
to
my girl Roz.
Raj. Shout
I
out to
love you. I
Raj.
love you so much, yo. I love you, and of course my boy Eric, everybody, the Leo, man. Like, everybody, man. Like, I can't not even say names, but like I said again, love y'all. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Mariella, I see you. Thank you. To hear Dry Safe. Have a great game.
Thank you. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
Yep,
Take
and
care.
everybody, like I said, please feel free to hit me up. My info, like I said, any of the social media, like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the Twitter. Like I said, I usually respond. So
Oh, he's on it.
maybe
He's on it.
on
He hit me back
Instagram
right away
and
on social
Instagram and
media.
Twitter if you don't have it. Perfect. Yeah, okay, it's up there. So yeah, y'all hit me up, and I'll definitely make sure I respond on there. Talk to y'all soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for tuning in. Oh man, that if y'all didn't get any pearls of wisdom, some gems dropping somewhere, I don't know what's going on, but this is amazing. Hey, shout out to Michael. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for getting up early on a Saturday. This has been amazing. I don't know about y'all, but I feel great. Thank you.